It's the Thursday edition of Lagos Today, reaching you live from Lagos Television, from the city of aquatic splendor, the center of excellence. I am Tinuke Oloruntoyin Folami, welcoming you on today's edition. As usual, we have a beautiful lineup for you. We'll be talking to you about the traffic management in Lagos. The general manager of Last Mile will be doing justice to that when we get to that segment. Of course, as usual, we'll have our Lagos album, and we're also going to have another segment of discussion with the Deputy Director NAFDAC, who will be talking to us on the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitute. I guess you're as curious as I am, so just wait for it. And of course, as usual, we have our health tips, Lagos facts, and the on the street segment. Do wait for all of that. So very quickly, without wasting much of your time, I'll go on to the segment with the Deputy Director of NAFDAC, Eva Edwards, who will be talking to us on the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitute. You're welcome on the show, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So can you quickly explain what best describes the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes?
I'll try to do this really quickly. It's a set of recommendations by the World Health Organization and UNICEF to member countries. It came about in 1981 as a result of concerns that were raised that there was a rise in infant mortality, infant deaths.
Okay.
So they thought to come up with this code that would regulate the way breast milk substitutes are marketed.
Okay.
Okay, so within that document, you have articles, about 11 articles, okay, which target several things. There's provisions for information and educational materials for the general public and mothers, for the healthcare system, the health workers, the persons who work in the infant food manufacturing firms and distributors, the quality of the products, how these products should be labeled. So these are essentially a minimum set of recommendations that should be taken in their entirety.
Okay. And
member countries were urged to domesticate these recommendations into national measures. So like in Nigeria, we have legislation, and we also have national regulations. So essentially, it's a document that just regulates how these products are marketed, because our infants are among our most vulnerable populations. So we need to really be careful. These products are special products. They're not like any other articles of trade. So the way you market them has to also be, it has to go through, it's a special treatment.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there any link between Start Strong and BMS code as breast milk substitute?
Yes, indeed. There is a strong link between Start Strong and the BMS code.
Okay, now, can you enlighten us?
Yes. The Start Strong campaign, which is also known as the Zero Water campaign, is a campaign that raises awareness on the importance of breastfeeding of infants,
okay,
with particular emphasis on early initiation of breastfeeding within the first 1 hour of birth, and sustained breastfeeding, that's exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. No water, no other fluids, just
strictly the breast
milk. Then similarly, the breast milk substitute code, I'll say the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes, aims to contribute to the provision of safe and adequate nutrition for the infants.
Okay. And this nutritions are in the breast milk already?
Everything is in the breast milk. Now it does this, it aims to do this through promotion and protection of breastfeeding. Okay? And ensures the proper use of breast milk substitutes when they are necessary, and only on the basis of adequate information and appropriate marketing and distribution. So essentially what the breast milk substitute code does is put in safeguards to check the sometimes aggressive, sometimes inappropriate marketing of breast milk substitutes because they have been shown to undermine exclusive breastfeeding, right? Because our exclusive breastfeeding rates are pretty low right now. From the 2018 Demographic and Health Survey for Nigeria, we stand at about 28.7%, which is very well short of the global targets, which are at least 50%. So these two schemes, the Start Strong campaign and the BMS code, they're complementary because when there is effective regulation of the code, effective implementation of the code, then we expect to see that mothers, without the undue commercial pressures, and to use breast milk substitutes when they can breastfeed, will actually breastfeed their babies. They will initiate breastfeeding earlier because the health workers will also support them to do this, and there will be sustained breastfeeding. So the two are complementary, the Start Strong and regulating and controlling the way these products are marketed.
Okay, can you tell me why BMS code is important to NAFDAC?
First of all, you know, the vision of NAFDAC as an agency is safeguarding public health. Now, we have identified that the infants are among our most vulnerable populations. So naturally, we have a big concern where their health is, where positive health outcomes for them would be compromised.
Okay.
Which is what the aggressive marketing would do if the mothers do not exclusively breastfeed, because the advertising and promotion of these products undermine breastfeeding. Okay, so that's the vision. Okay. Now, we are also designated as the regulatory authority in Nigeria to implement, to monitor, and enforce the International Code of Breast Milk Substitutes. So that's one of our mandates for the country, right? So when we have effective implementation, monitoring, and enforcement of the code, it's a very useful mechanism to contribute towards efforts aimed at protecting and promoting breastfeeding. Okay, because we know that suboptimal breastfeeding practices have a direct link to infant mortality, to malnutrition. Okay, so when we effectively implement, monitor, and enforce the BMS code, we hope to impact those areas positively for positive outcomes.
Your agency has done a lot to support the Start Strong campaign?
I would definitely say so. We do support the Start Strong campaign because, like, we have already established that there's a link between the Start Strong and the BMS code.
Okay.
We have already established also that this is a very important aspect to NAFDAC.
Okay.
So all the activities that we do regarding enforcing the code, the provisions of the code, tie into the Start Strong campaign, because at the end of the day, we're all working towards the same goal, which is protecting and promoting breastfeeding. So in doing that, we have sensitization and awareness workshops and advocacy to advocate for compliance with the code, with relevant stakeholders, the public and private health facilities, the health workers, health professional associations, media practitioners. We were here in November last year to do some advocacy.
Okay.
And even with the infant food manufacturers. We also do a compliance monitoring activities. We have a strong collaboration with our development partners who work in the nutrition space. So we leverage on those, on our collaboration with them to take the BMS code message out into the public space. We have developed, with their support, advocacy tools. You know, these are tools that we use to brief legislators and policymakers, religious and community leaders, media practitioners, mothers and their families, right? So we also participate in a World Breastfeeding Week activities, which is a week comes up from the 1st to the 7th of August every year. And during that week, there's a heightened awareness for breastfeeding, protecting, promoting, and supporting breastfeeding, because it's all about supportive environments so that the mother will breastfeed.
So would you say it is illegal to advertise formula?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So can you tell us some of the challenges you face while trying to carry out this advocacy?
Well, I wouldn't say challenges in carrying out advocacy, but maybe challenges in implementing the international code per se, because there's really not enough awareness, not enough knowledge out there with the people who need to know. You know, people think that babies are thirsty.
Yes, it's a general misconception.
Right, that they need to drink water. Right, so exclusive breastfeeding takes a nosedive with that. Right, so advertising is one of the advertising is one of the provisions of the code. If you look around Lagos, I'm sure you will not find any. Lagos is pretty much compliant with not advertising breast milk substitutes.
So basically, there are no major challenges for this policy.
I wouldn't say there are no major challenges.
Okay.
There are challenges, but they are definitely surmountable.
Good.
And that is why we have a plan, we have come up with these advocacy tools, with which, with breastfeeding, the mother needs a support system. We're all stakeholders in this, mothers. So that's the mother support system, primarily the husband.
Yes.
Mothers-in-law, grandmothers, the community, supportive workplaces, where mothers can have breastfeeding rooms, where they can be given time to breastfeed their babies. And we also need to key into the strong link between nutrition and development, because if the child does not get what they need in the 1,000 days, we say the critical window of opportunity, the first 1,000 days, then it's pretty difficult to make up. Those are missed opportunities. So if we can get this done at this time, within that 1,000 day window, and the child has a beautiful life ahead. So advocacy is really the key. We need supportive systems. Everybody needs to key into this and get every woman, every man, everybody who has a pregnant woman around them, nursing mother, offer your support so that they can breastfeed their baby. So the major challenges really are that I wouldn't want to say the health workers are not it's not that they are not knowledgeable. They are knowledgeable, but awareness of the code
is very important.
It's very important.
Okay.
Because they are closest to the moms for those who have institutional deliveries, and they are able to pass the message on to support them to breastfeed, initiate early breastfeeding, and continued breastfeeding.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Eva Edwards, for coming on the show. This is quite expository. So there you have it. Breast milk is absolutely the ultimate for the first 1,000 days. She has said it all. So let's ensure we do exclusive breastfeeding for the first 1,000 days. We'll take a quick break now and we'll be back. Well, thank you so much for watching this segment. We'll be right back with other parts of the show. Don't go away.